Hey everyone, Decayed Matter back again, and this is part 2 of my Platinum Games retrospective. Today we're going to be focusing on Viewtiful Joe for GameCube and PS2. Now, Viewtiful Joe was originally released on GameCube October 7th of 2003 in North America, and it was made by Team Viewtiful, which was a part of Capcom Production Studio 4. It was directed by Hideki Kamiya of Resident Evil 2, and Devil May Cry fame. And it was produced by Atsushi Inaba of Ace Attorney and Steel Battalion fame. This was a part of a series of games called the Capcom 5, which were meant to be exclusives for the GameCube. And this included games like Resident Evil 4, Product Number 03, and Killer 7, which is developed by Grasshopper Manufacture, which is known for No More Heroes and most recently Lollipop Chainsaw. Now, Viewtiful Joe was then ported to the PS2 a year later, on August 24th, 2004, and had a few extras such as being able to play as Dante from Devil May Cry. So I'm going to go ahead and show you guys gameplay from both titles and give you a little more info on them. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Okay, so we're getting into the GameCube footage first. Here's the title screen, which is very flashy. One interesting thing to note is here they're still known as Team Viewtiful, not Clover Studios. But when the PS2 version came out, they changed the logo over to Clover Studios. Gotta love this intro. Always pumps me up to play the game.
Oh, me?
I always love the music in this game as well. I would try to mention the composers, but I will probably not be able to pronounce their name. And yeah, the game was originally going to be called Red Hot Man, but they decided to change it because of copyright concerns from the band Red Hot Chili Peppers. So then it became Viewtiful Joe. And yeah, the game starts as Joe and his girlfriend Sylvia watching a movie in the style of those old Japanese monster movies, such as Ultraman and Godzilla, you know. And they kind of took that style and mixed it with more American style cartoons or comics. So it's a pretty neat combination. And then obviously the movie becomes real and grabs Sylvia. It's kind of an ongoing thing with the series, was them being inside of a movie. Or the movie coming to life, which happens later on in Viewtiful Joe Double Trouble.
It's 6 Machine.
And then Joe gets pulled in as well. Learns that he has to take up Captain Blue's place as a hero. So here we go with the first stage. Atsushi Inaba wanted the game to be very challenging and visually stunning. I guess that's why they chose the cel-shaded art style. And I would have to agree, it's very striking visually. Then Joe gets his powers by getting the V-Watch, which allows him to change into Viewtiful Joe. During the gameplay, that translates into having a VFX gauge that slowly refills, as you'll see here. And then you have a better moveset and special abilities. It's all about dodging the enemies or finding their weak point to expose them and then let them have it. Using, obviously your slowdown power here. You can speed up to obviously hit them very quickly, or split Joe into multiple characters and hit a bunch of enemies at once. And you can also zoom in to do extra damage and even more movesets. So you can see I dodge and then it tells me to slow down, and then you can kind of send them flying. And once again, the game, like Devil May Cry, uses a rating system that goes by how many combos you got, how many times you were hit, and how much time you took. And yeah, the stages definitely have a retro feel to them. Just the way they're set up. And here's the Joker character, which is reoccurring. He always comes with the slot machine that you can use after you beat him. Get a coin from him. And then you can optionally get some extra V coins or a burger to refill your health. And the V coins are the game's currency for leveling up Joe or whichever character you're using. And to buy items such as his bombs and his boomerang. So like Devil May Cry and all of Platinum games, they're always about letting you level up your character and getting more points based on how well you do in the levels. And here you can see the great level design with interactive objects in the background. Knock enemies into them. Later on you'll see me drop this chandelier here on top of a group of enemies. And here there's enemies with guns as well. You can slow down time and reflect it back at them and let them have it. There you go, dropping the chandelier. So not only is the game about fighting, but it's about exploration, platforming, and even puzzle solving. This is just a simple puzzle where you put a stack of books on top of a button. But they get more and more complex as the game goes on, making use of all of Joe's powers to slow down time or speed it up or zoom in. It's all used and used pretty intelligently throughout the game. Never feel too frustrated with any of the puzzles. You're just more like, oh, that was cool, when you figure it out. And again, you can see with these enemies, Joe slows down time to make them drop out of the sky, or slow down time to make these propellers slow down so it can be lowered to the switch. You gotta love this level design with all the little details on that table. And again, the game has a lot of platforming in it. This gives it a very old school feel. And when this came out, I was definitely surprised. I mean, I thought it would just be a simple 2D game, but it had a very in-depth combo system and upgrade system. I was very pleased. After I played this, I wanted more and more 2D games with cell shading. Fortunately, we haven't seen too many. Here's one of the mid-bosses. Later on, you fight 2 of these helicopters. And again, you collect all those V-Watch icons. Once you get, I think, 50 of them, it increases your VFX gauge just for that level. You can see the slowdown causes the helicopter to fall. You can send its bullets back at it. You can see that move there. You jump up and then zoom in when you're in the air, and it causes them to drop down. And slowing down time causes even more sustained damage. This may look kind of intense here, but it pales in comparison to the higher difficulties, like V-rated. The higher difficulties are very fun. You get new enemy sets in the levels. So even the early stages are quite tough. Kind of a trademark of Platinum games. Oh, and here's another puzzle where you slow down time to make a drop of water very big to hit a switch. Yeah, one thing I always like about Platinum games is they know how to have different levels of difficulty. You can either play it really easy and have a good time, or challenge yourself on a replay. There's always like new enemy types in their games, which is very, very good for replayability. Very satisfying to slow down time and knock these enemies out. I mean, this launched the series' popularity. They even made a couple spin-off games that were fighters, and even a TV show. As you can see, the combos can get really stylish as you get good at the game. And here's obviously a action sequence. There's a couple of these with death traps in the game that you have to avoid. Just another way to keep the action high and the gameplay varied. And here you see him using the Mach speed to set himself on fire and light up these torches. Plenty of clever puzzles through the game's 7 stages. And here's the first boss in the game. Each of the bosses have a distinct style and personality. Very funny dialogue between Joe and each boss. Here's Charles III. Probably one of my favorite bosses in the game is the Iron Ogre, Hulk Davidson. Just his dialogue is so ridiculously funny. And you also fight a boss called the Blade Master Alistair, which Alistair is the lightning sword that Dante uses in Devil May Cry.
Come on. Let's get this over with.
Clover and Platinum Games have always done references to their past titles. Something I always like about their games. For example, a newer game, Bayonetta, has Joe's Red Hot Kick in it. I think they changed the name of it slightly, but you can totally tell it's from Viewtiful Joe.
Alright. Let's get it on. Just go for it.
As you can see, when I slow down and attack him, he splits into a bunch of bats. Every boss has a distinct pattern and weakness that once you learn how to do it, it becomes much easier, but the higher difficulties increase the challenge. This is one of the easier bosses though. Kind of simplistic to beat. You can see he drops items down, which you can use to knock towards him. It's always good when games have environmental interaction. Makes the whole thing feel less static. There we go, about to take him out. I did bad. And the cool thing, after you beat a boss, it zooms in on Joe, and whatever move you perform is where it freezes frame. It's always fun. So that is the first stage of Viewtiful Joe. I think that gives you a good idea of the game and the GameCube version itself. You can see they do still shots for some of the cutscenes, just to give it that comic book style. Alright, so next up I'm going to show you the PS2 version of the game, mainly to show you the exclusive character Dante from Devil May Cry.
Little did he know that the clues would only lead him to more problems. The next episode is Some Like It Red Hot. See you there.
And then you get a final rating based on all your other ratings through the stage. Here's the power-up screen. That's another trademark of Platinum Games, I feel. Here's Dante. He has all his own moveset. Purchase moves and upgrade your health. Get usable items. The nice thing about Dante is he has his own cutscenes. The dialogue is all in gibberish because they didn't record new voice acting, but there's new text to fit with his character. And instead of Sylvia, it's Dante and Trish from Devil May Cry. As you can see there, you can do his taunt from Devil May Cry as well. So you can tell with the moveset right away, Dante's very different from Joe. He uses sword and ebony and ivory pistols. And it's nice they kept a lot of Dante's one-liners as you're playing. You see it when he runs out of his VFX gauge, he's in his underwear. They definitely weren't taking Dante seriously in this, which is okay. And that translates to his cutscenes as well. Kind of gives more insight into Dante's character, but it's from a comedic perspective, so it's fun to watch. Here's another puzzle where you speed up to raise these propellers. As far as the PS2 version goes, there wasn't a whole lot of differences graphically. For one, the GameCube version supported progressive scan, and the PS2 version does not, so you might see some interlacing throughout this video. I don't know, the visuals in general seem a little bit muddier in my opinion. Maybe slightly longer load times and some more slowdown in areas. But it's pretty close, I would say. It's enjoyable no matter where you play it. They also removed a few Nintendo references, such as Joe whistling the Mario Brothers theme song when he uses the bombs. Let's see, you're fighting Captain Blue. You do this several times through the game to unlock all the new abilities. I'm having kind of a tough time here because I have not beaten the game with Dante, so I'm not leveled up. Yeah, Captain Blue can be pretty challenging on the higher difficulties. And again, another puzzle where you have to zoom in and do the spin kick to hit these all simultaneously. Here's another zone with hazards. Some spiky ground there. And you have to use Mach speed to raise the water level. And then there's some lasers that you have to avoid. And you can see here I'm doing Dante's signature stinger move. Thrust the sword forward. You can also do his high time move, which knocks him up in the air with his sword, and then you can follow up by jumping and shooting his pistols to juggle them, just like Devil May Cry. So that's it for this video, guys. Hope you enjoyed. The next part is going to be about Viewtiful Joe 2 and Viewtiful Joe Double Trouble on DS.